Can you think of a certain time in your life that you weren't thinking? That is a ridiculous statement that I just made up, but I think it illustrates a good point. All of the time that we're awake, we're doing some kind of thought. Now, today I'm going to examine the how of how we do that, the different things that we put into our own creation, and how we can observe the same kind of thing in nature. And all of this I call patterns. I'm going to use these patterns to look at the intelligence in the world around us, and we'll see where it came from. Now, when a baby is first born, it doesn't know what its mom and dad are going to look like. It doesn't know what to expect because it's never been there. It's never observed, and it hasn't built the associations required to understand that. Now, in a simple way, associations are basically our recognition of patterns that we're familiar with. Now, you have simple associations. You can touch something hot, go ow! You learn very quickly. You build an association very fast that hurts. In the same way, I can put a piece of candy in my mouth, suck on it. Tastes good. Same thing. And it is these basic associations that we build up from. These basic associations allow us to create the complex associations that allow us to think in scientific terms, logical terms. There's no specific division between the simple and the complex, but you do have levels. Now, the unique thing about human beings, as opposed to computers, which have the mind and the computer have certain similarities, is we're able to rearrange the patterns that we know in different ways. Just in the same way that I can rearrange this Lego in a new way, I have created something new. A computer cannot do this unless it has already been pre-patterned into it. This doesn't look wrong to me. I like Legos. But it illustrates a good point. The point that we're able to rearrange patterns. Just like a kid, if he's had wooden doors all his life, if he goes up to a glass door at a neighbor's house, he's never seen it before, he will very quickly figure out that this strange, flat object is a door. Because it opens, it has similar features. And in the same way, we can associate things by being able to, by having only one thing in common. Say, take the children's books that would have the assignment. Which of these does not belong? A banana, an apple, a tomato, and a piece of chocolate. Now, though more logical reasoning would tell me that what we really need to do is remove the apple and the tomato and put in ice cream so that we have a sundae, a more basic reasoning would tell us that it is only the chocolate that does not belong because it's not fruit. Now, these patterns we exhibit in what we create. We exhibit them in music, in art. In art we exhibit them, we take the colors and we, in a shade, in a, red, white, and blue, perhaps. We know what those mean. Or in music, with proper beat, proper harmony, we can create music. Another good example is language. We have patterns that we're familiar with all the way down from the letters to the words to the sentences, to the paragraphs, to the... you can keep going, but these allow us to build on our level of information and also illustrate a very good point. When we are reading along in a book, not being critical, we will miss many small mistakes. They might have left out whole words such as a, and, the, is, be, and we won't see it because we're so familiar with sentence structure, we're so familiar with the patterns that we're used to that we don't see it. And this illustrates that our pattern recognition is very predictive. We can use this predictive nature if we are stepping down the stairs, perhaps. When we're stepping down the stairs, we know that something's going to catch us, even though we're walking out into midair. And it is this kind of thing which is used all the time, day to day, in everything we do. Now, this brings us to the most interesting part, and you might be wondering, alright, we've been talking about intelligence, but all you've shown so far is that humans are intelligent. Well, that's a good point. So now we're going to examine the intelligent design seen within nature. Now, first, what kind of patterns do we have to get this intelligent design? We have the water cycle. In the water cycle, the sun rises over the earth, the water evaporates, and then it rains down on the earth. This creates the perfect environment for life. Now, all the way from the amoeba to the human genome, to the human, there is incredibly vast amount of information in either genome. The genetics in a single amoeba are over 100 times beyond what you would find in a state library or something like that. It's amazing how much information is required. And funny, they've never found a way that information is added to it. They've studied years and years, and though we have the millions upon millions of genomes that go on, they've just found that it works more and more efficiently. They found that it probably codes in two directions. It codes in multiple dimensions according to the way that it folds. We have no idea how many different ways the human genome can be read, but it has vast amounts of information in it. And when we look at this, when we see everything that the body can do, and then we look at art, say the statue of David, sculpted by Michelangelo. Now, Michelangelo's statue of David is a signature piece of art, standing there. And yet, why do we believe people that it was really sculpted at all? Why don't we just say that a meteor came down and hit a piece out of the ground and boom! Well, obviously, because that's illogical. There's such organized pattern there that we can see obviously someone sculpted that. So I would say, using the same logic, we can look at this. Now that just has the same shape as a human. This is a living, breathing human. How can we say that that was made by someone intelligent and we were made by goo? Last time I checked, goo was not very intelligent. And that is really how I want to wrap it up. There is, in each of these things, in art, in our own thought process, in architecture and in science, we can see that intelligence has to be there every time. So I'm just saying that we should set the same standard for looking at nature.